Welcome back to SCV Today. Just in time, you sit down. That's called being a professional.
That's what I am.
That's what you are, and that's what Mike Bjorkman is.
Good morning, everybody.
How about that? Mike Bjorkman, the real estate to the superstars.
That mushroom looks good enough to eat.
Don't.
I can see you. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Got it.
All right.
Not intended.
Just checking.
Oh, boy.
I always wonder why there's a mushroom.
First of all, the purple socks today.
Well, hello.
I mean, you know,
They match my purple on my shirt.
Do-
See?
Oh, there's purple there on your shirt.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you. Mike
You have
Bjorkman?
sock envy.
I think I do. Well, look at these socks, though. I mean, those are bright and powerful, and that's the kind of person Mike is.
Those say, I
I'm comfortable in the
powerful,
skin that
I
I'm
am
in.
smart.
If I have boring shoes, I wear fun socks.
It says, I am boom boom.
Capital B's, baby.
Boom.
Boom. You're here to talk real estate, so let's do that. We've gone a minute and a half already, and we go well.
Right. We were talking about Lombardi Ranch. We're ushering the fall season, which means our first rain, right? Every year about this time, we run into mold issues. So I thought today, it's a pretty big deal in Santa Clarita, Southern California, everywhere really. And most real estate agents are afraid to talk about mold. We can be held liable for all sorts of things. But with our property management company, SCV Leasing, for some reason, this summer has been a summer of mold. We have over 300 properties that we manage, and we've been dealing with a lot of it. So we're starting to become somewhat experts in the field. And I wanted to tell all of our viewers a couple things we can do to prevent mold.
Great.
And what to do if we find or think we might have mold, because there's millions of people very sick in this country from people neglecting mold in their home. It is a big deal. I've got family members that are sick for the rest of their lives because of mold.
Wow.
And it's a big deal for tenants, for owners, for even if it's your own home, mold can spread if not dealt with, and we should talk about it a little bit.
Do you know what the first signs are, like that people notice or don't notice? Signs that they're not noticing?
Typically the first sign is wet, moisture, whatever you want to call it, dampness. That's your first sign, duh. But the second thing is usually a musty odor, and you can kind of smell that moldy, yucky smell. And a lot of times, people will even spill something on the carpet or the wall, and they just kind of, oh, it'll dry. Yeah, it'll dry in the form of mold, you know.
Right.
So the things that we ran into the most this year, leaking air conditioners. It was so hot this summer, there was leaking everywhere from condensation, water lines all over, especially in attics, and that was a big deal. We had, I'd say, tens of thousands of dollars in mold repair, mold remediation this summer, and it only gets worse in the winter. So our first two things for that is, number one, usually a roof leak. A lot of the homes in the neighborhoods around here are getting a little older now, and coming out of a terrible economy, people don't just repair things unless it's an absolute must. So they go, oh, it's a little leak, and you can see on the ceiling a stain, a mold stain probably. You know, there's a lot of mold growing up in our attics. But if they haven't maintained their roof properly, it's a good indication you might get a mold issue somewhere down the road. So we like to take care of that. The other big thing is, for some reason over the last couple of years especially, is people have let their dirt come high up on their foundations to where people don't realize if it rains and the water pools up against the house, it does eventually seep into the house and seep up the walls. That's another humongous problem, and it's terrible. Laundry rooms will have leaky washing machines, and the big thing this summer also was refrigerator water lines behind the refrigerator leaking.
Okay.
And
Yeah, these are great points. I never even thought about a lot of these things.
it's such
You're
a big
absolutely
deal at our
right.
company that I'm like, geez, I really want to help spread the word. And you guys, water inside your home is not good. Old windows, leaking windows, comes in the seal, drips down the wall. But those kitchen ones underneath the sinks, people say, oh, it's a little leak, and they put a cup there, some paper towels, and neglect it, because if it's a small, slow leak, we don't check it every day. Pretty soon, your cabinets need to be completely ripped out. And you want to talk to your insurance company, because many insurance companies do not cover mold anymore.
So most of the mold is not seen.
Correct.
And should homeowners be diligent to be just going up into the attic, going behind a wall, or somehow being able to start to look and anticipate mold? And if it's not in a common area, or if it is inside a wall or up in the attic, how likely is that to be coming into our the breathing within the house?
It's very likely. And now there's thousands of different species of mold. Most of them are not harmful. There's tons of mold flying around right here, right now. But I recommend to all my clients once a year have one of our mold inspectors come and do air samples in their attic, air samples in the home, in the bathrooms, in the kitchen. It's not very expensive. It's usually less than a couple $100 by the time everything's said and done. Especially with children, with those little lungs that are developing, you do not want to interfere with their growth of their lungs, and gets in their blood and whatnot. And it could be pretty devastating. So it's not that big of a deal. I had some notes here. Let me make sure I covered them all.
While you're doing that, I want to point out, because you said, have a mold inspector come in. As someone that's not in the world of real estate or in that world, you're thinking, who do I call? And that's why it's so important to have a realtor that has a Rolodex of trusted people that you can call. Even when you were talking about the leaking roof, people are afraid to call roofers because they automatically think, oh, I'm going to get scammed. Whereas we have a Rolodex of people that we know, like, and trust. And he's going to be so happy I used that.
Well, yeah.
And that's what we do.
Years and years of building relationships.
Use your realtor not just to buy real estate, but as a referral service. And even even being in the business, if I need new brakes on my car, I call Mike. Mike, who do I go to? Because he's got so many more years of mixing with people. So I just wanted to touch base on that.
Everybody in town, especially being real estate agents, by law, when we refer somebody, we have to refer at least 3 or more. So we have to have relationships in all fields all the time, and keep those relationships current and up to date. And we continuously reach out to our vendors, and we work so close together. We think about it, okay, so we sell over 100 homes a year. Yeah, that's a lot, but don't forget, we have 4,500 past clients, and they all call for something. So we're in the middle of it all the time, and since we're in real estate, we get to hear and see all the horror stories. What people go through. Most of the time in a neighborhood, oh yeah, little John down the street had mold, but I mean, we hear about it all the time, so it's in our face. So I really truly believe this is as technology improves, it's easier to get rid of. There's a lot of government websites. EPA's got a great website, tells you how to handle mold, if you have a square of 18 inches or less, how you can get rid of it, and it'll walk you through all the steps. And it's interesting just to read the website anyway, so you can learn the different names of the mold.
What is that website?
I forget. It's the EPA website.
EPA?
Just Google the
I'll
EPA.
put it on our
Possibly EPA.gov, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly.
I'll put it on our website.
I always just Google it. EPA mold, it goes right up.
There it is. Yeah.
It comes up really simple.
See, and this is it's a great point, because how many people are going to be selling their home, they find a buyer, and then they have the inspection, and all of a sudden, hey, guess what? You've got mold. And
forever it happens. Yeah, everybody's so excited. We sold it at full price. We're moving, yay. Buyer does an inspection. And these home inspectors, it's their job to go through the home with a fine-tooth comb. And you and I, we don't think about looking behind a refrigerator with a flashlight every morning. And that inspector goes, there's something black and fuzzy back there. And we just go, oh, here we go. Next thing you know, we have a 30-day delay in escrow. It's costed the seller another $25,000. And,
$25,000 to...
When it's kitchens, it's always $25,000.
Seriously, so
tearing
mold
out the
removal,
cabinets, all the drywall, and if you're lucky enough to have it in a bathroom, cool. But oftentimes it's behind the shower. We have beautiful tile showers. It gets behind there, and then next thing you know, there's a sledgehammer tearing out all the drywall on the bedroom side, the bathroom side. Now you're rebuilding it's a nightmare.
The moral of the story here is the second you suspect, get on it right away.
Yeah, keep
Don't
your
let it
humidity
snowball.
down in your home too. It should be between 30 and 50%. One of the biggest culprits, and I want to beat my kids all the time for it, is they'll shut the bathroom door, shut the window, and crank that shower. And then you'll see on the ceilings, eventually, you're going to see little yellow and spots up there. Great.
Disclaimer, Mike Bjorkman does not beat his children.
Hardly ever. Oh, yeah. I wish Joe was here. He'd be. But it's ridiculous because that does seep into the pores of your wood and everything. So when you shower, have it perfectly ventilated. We typically use our whole house fan all the time when it feels humid in the home. Try to get all the humidity out and bring some fresh air in. There's a lot of different things you can do, and of course that website again has all that information. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Even if you're not
Definitely.
selling, our health is worth something. Our children's health is worth something, and it only gets worse. It doesn't get better. So as we come into our rainy season, do whatever you can to keep the water out of the home. Keep make sure the drainage is away from the home. Make sure your roof, you've had an inspection on your roof to prevent leaks. Because once it happens, it's right now, mold starts growing immediately, and it's never nice. And
is there a chance that you could spend less than $25,000 if you're
of
finding?
course.
I mean, is there other methods? I mean, if someone who's not selling their home right now and they're going to go, you know what, this is a great tip. I'm going to move my refrigerator out and see if I've got any mold or a leaky copper pipe back there for the water dispenser. If they find something, there's other methods that can be used, so it's not going to be.
Very simple, very inexpensive methods. Like for myself personally, I would never recommend this to anybody without consulting with a mold expert. That 18-inch square I told you about, typically, especially if there's males in the home, behind the toilet, you're going to find mold quite often. And they'll recommend that you take.
Mike Bjorkman has bad aim. You heard it here, folks.
No, oh my gosh! But it's
Put
real.
this one on your YouTube channel.
Shush.
Little boom boom has a mind of its own. That's all we're going to say.
I have kids, 2 boys. Okay, so it's true, Morris. It's true, but you can use a solution of 50% bleach, 50% water, Brillo pad. Take care of it that way. And again, I'm not saying that's the way to get rid of mold, but I went ahead and went with what the EPA said and followed their exact instructions to protect my family. And we do it all the time. It's not that big of a deal, but if it gets bad, then it's expensive.
Right. Very good. Mike Bjorkman, thank you again, as
Thank
always.
you. It was lots of fun.
Home Smart Real Estate.
You did.
All right.
He's going to beat me like he beats children.
Okay, well, that'll be on our web extra here on SCV Today, so get that online, scvtoday.com. Mike, thank you again. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Good program today. And thank you very much for sharing a part of your day with us. Have a good rest of your day.